All right, guys, so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about fixed rate loans versus ARMs, or adjustable rate mortgages. So as the name implies, you probably already guessed it, a fixed rate loan, essentially you have a fixed interest rate that is not going anywhere. It is not changing on you unexpectedly, and you know exactly what to expect based on the rate that you have. And typically speaking, you're going to have a fully amortized fixed rate loan as well. For example, we talk about this in other modules, but a 30-year fixed rate mortgage or a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, that means that if you paid that same payment, that fully amortized principal and interest payment for the entire duration of that amortization, you know that at the end of that time frame, you have a completely paid off loan and everything is said and done. Okay, there's no surprises, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. On the other hand, with what you call an ARM loan, an adjustable rate mortgage, you have different increments that a loan's interest rate may change. Now, typically speaking, it's locked in for a first X amount of years. For example, if you hear of what's called, let's say a 5-1 ARM, that means that the loan's gonna be fixed. The interest rate's gonna be fixed for the first 5 years. And then after that, it can go up to once per year, or actually up or down based on the prime rate, okay? But you need to keep this in mind, because if we're in an upward trending rate environment, which we have been for the last few years, you might be walking into a loan commitment where right now the payment might seem comfortable to you, but what happens in a few years when the interest rate's a bit higher? Now, what happens when you walk into an adjustable rate environment and interest rates are way up here compared to when you signed up and they were down here? See, you want to keep these things in mind, and you want to be very careful when you're signing up for these sort of loans. Now, full disclosure, I would typically say that fixed rate loans are going to be your preferred, the preferred product that you're going to want to get out there, especially if you're relatively new at this or you're inexperienced. And the bottom line being, you have a very predictable course on what you are going to be paying on that loan. You know, once you get into adjustable rate mortgages and fluctuating payments, it gets a bit more complex and it gets pretty stressful if you don't already have a clear, concise plan for what you're doing with the property. Now, one of the pros of ARMs also is that you can have the possibility of the rate going down. So if you were in a downward trending rate environment and you had signed up and you were up here at 6% interest rate, your fixed term expires and your adjustable term comes up and rates are actually down at 4%, well then, I mean, you could, in theory, actually have that rate adjust downward and work in your favor. The thing is, we don't have any control over that. And even right now, in today's environment, you know, we don't even have a clear, concise idea of what's going to happen to rates or where they're going to be 12 months or 24 months from now. So it's kind of a gamble to some extent, and you really want to use that with caution. Another benefit of ARM loans also is that you can have a bit more flexibility, and they can be pretty handy in unique scenarios. So for example, occasionally you'll even come across what's called, you know, something like an 80-10-10. And this could be a conventional loan where you have typical 80% loan to value financing for the main loan, the first trust deed. And then on the second, in order for you to only put 10% down, you get a second loan or a home equity line of credit, which typically comes via a adjustable rate mortgage. And that might be for 10% of the loan balance. So in essence, you're really only putting 10% down. You're getting an 80% loan to value fixed rate. And then on the other hand, you're getting an adjustable rate 10% financing second trust deed or second mortgage, depending on where you are, that will typically come with an adjustable rate mortgage. So in that sort of scenario, it can provide some benefits. And there you sort of have the major lion's share of your debt that has a fixed rate, which is great, right? That's what we talked about. We want that ideally. But then you have a much lesser loan balance that has an adjustable rate mortgage. That said, even that smaller balance, if interest rates start going up, you can start throwing money out of the window on things you didn't expect. So again, you want to use adjustable rate mortgages with caution. You want to read the terms. You want to be clear as to what the payoffs are, what the fixed rate periods are, what the adjustable periods are, how often they can adjust per year, and then any other stipulations that come with that loan program. Now, of course, the pros of a fully amortized fixed rate loan is that you have complete knowledge of what your payment is going to be, your principal and interest payment over the entire period of that full amortization. So if you're going to take out a 15-year fully amortized fixed rate loan, you know exactly that if you pay X amount of dollars and cents every single month for the next 15 years, at the end of that period, you are going to have a completely paid off, trust deed, fully paid off mortgage, and you're going to own that property outright. That said, adjustable rate mortgages do not work the same way. So you want to make sure you factor in that unpredictability and make sure you're planning accordingly. And again, I advise if you're just getting started in this, you talk to somebody a bit more knowledgeable about this, or you just completely avoid adjustable rate mortgages altogether. I'll see you in the next video.